haven't seen you in so long.
Yes, it has been a long time.
It has. And I'm Jana with Purl Together, and my guest on this particular episode of the Purlcast is Anne Frost from the I Thought I Knew How podcast. Links are down below for all of Anne's social media. And she's laughing because she was telling me why she is over it when it comes to the fall season.
I am over it. I feel like I've talked about this before, maybe not with you. I drive my youngest crazy with it because she loves the fall.
Yeah.
But she's young and naive.
So you just think it's all about death and decay and you're just done with it.
It's just death and decay. So I grew up in New England. I'll start with that. I grew up in New England. Yeah. And it's a beautiful, lovely place to grow up. And you grow up being told that the fall is a wonderful time of year. And look at all the beautiful colors. And then I moved to the tropics. Well, then I moved to Arizona, which was brown and some green, but mostly brown. And then I moved to the tropics where it was green, 90% of the year. Yeah. There was a dry season, but it was very short. And, if you were around people who would water their lawns and trees and stuff, it wouldn't get brown. So green, So then we came back. We've been back like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm just over fall. I'm just over it. It doesn't appeal to me. I'm like, someone's messed with the colors. What's going on? Fix your tint. Like, fix your tint. And what the colors are supposed to be. You should be green. You're a tree. Every elementary school child knows that trees are green. What's wrong with you trees?
Until they're not, because every year this happens. It's natural. It's part of it.
The yellow feels aggressive. The maple tree outside my window right now is it's a wall of yellow and it just feels aggressive. I'm like, settle down, tree. No one did anything to you. Just be a tree.
But you know what? Because about the farm stuff. Okay, when you have goats, it's so much fun. They love it. It's like they love to eat the leaves that fall. So when it gets windy and all the leaves fall off the tree, it would be the equivalent of like a tree raining down Pringles for me. They love it. I mean, they get so happy and they dance around and they just love the leaves. Yeah.
So that would be fun. So I need goats. I need goats, and I will renew my love for the fall. Maybe. I do like fall because, sweater weather finally returns.
Yes.
And that, like, I'm all about that. So that's a perk. Because first of all, I'm always cold, even in the summer, but I feel like if I wear sweaters in the summer, then I make other people uncomfortable. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, just wearing a sweater, trying to maintain my body temperature.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I can freely wear sweaters.
And all the bugs die. They all get frozen. That's a good thing.
Right now,
the flies.
They're all trying to get into my house right now. They know that this is a safe haven. And so I almost took a video and posted it the other day because this is the south side of our house over here. And it, like, the ladybugs and hornets and everything, it was like the Walking Dead thing. Like, they were just all like at the window. My windows were just covered one day in ladybugs and hornets, like walking all around on the window.
Yeah, it's disgusting. They all went in. You feel like it's all about death and decay, but all those leaves are great mulch for things, and you got to leave the leaves, like, don't rake them up because it's good habitat for bugs and bees for overwintering.
Yeah.
Yeah, raking is overrated and it's not necessary, and you're ruining habitat if you do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't really have an option because we rent, and so our landlord pays for the landscaper guy to come, and he just comes and does everything. So we don't have a say. Only he doesn't do the flower beds, actually. So anything that falls on a flower bed does get left until, like,
that's good.
Spring,
it's great mulch.
Into the spring.
Yeah.
Our town did no mow May this year, where they just didn't send any of the mowers out until June. But then it went like well into June because I think they're having a hard time. We're post-COVID, so anyone watching this, we're like in the post-COVID summer, just finished, and I think they were having a hard time getting people hired to come work. So it became like no mow June and then a little bit of no mow July.
Well, so are you just waiting for the first snow to be happy?
No, because I hate winter as well.
So you're not going to be happy until spring? Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So my daughter calls me a typical New Englander. Like she's like, you're not happy unless you have at least one thing you're actively angry about.
She may have a point.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
And there's always the weather. I mean, that's something you can always be upset about.
Yeah.
That's
the
a
weather
constant.
doesn't take it personally. The weather doesn't take it personally.
No.
I was somewhere the other day and they were talking about the trees and how like they worried about how the trees feel about us because it gets to be this time of year and it's cold for them and all this stuff. And I'm like, the trees don't have feelings.
They might.
It's okay. They're just going through their cycle. They're just going through the going to bed thing.
But if trees do have feelings, I'm pretty sure they don't give a crap what we think.
Right. So if I'm grumpy about their inability to maintain greenness, then they don't care.
Because they're just going to do what they do.
They're just going to do what they do. So
yeah. I feel like if you hate winter, you should have a different last name.
Yeah, it's an inconvenient last name. I get lots of jokes about it, and I'm like, it's not funny. I had been married for 2 weeks when I went to the dentist, and the scheduler made a Jack Frost joke, and I didn't catch it because the name was so new to me.
Yeah.
And then she explained it to me, like she said it again, and I was like, oh. You're the first. I was like, you're the first one. And she was like, what? And I was like, I just got married. You're the first one to make a Frost joke. And she was so happy. She was so happy to be the first.
It's the little things, right?
It's the little things.
So speaking of little things, we're going to have lots of little things that will make you more happy in November.
Yes.
Tell us about that. That's my attempt at a segue.
Yeah, we're segueing now, everybody. We're segueing because Jana had me on to talk about Wovember, which is coming up. I don't know when you're going to release this, Jana. When is this going to go live?
Tomorrow.
I'm holding you to it now.
Tomorrow.
Okay, it's going to go live tomorrow, which is Friday. So in a week and a half, it's going to be November.
Right.
And we are going to spend the month of November celebrating wool in an event called Wovember.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So Wovember started in 2011. It was started by a couple of ladies in the UK, Louise Scollay and Felicity Ford. They are also podcasters. One of them had the Knit Sonic podcast, and the other one had the Knit British podcast, which I think is now called Woolwork.
Okay.
I think so. I meant to look that up before I started. So sorry, everybody. So they started it as an attempt to sort of re-educate the public about wool and what wool is and why the words wool and woolen and woolly have meaning and should be used properly, especially by fashion houses and stores and things like that when they're advertising, because wool does have amazing characteristics. And so if you're advertising something and calling it wool, it should have those characteristics.
And you should know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And you should know what you're talking about. And also they make the point that, when you call something wool and woolly and woolen, it conjures up the images of the green pastures and the sheep. And you're sort of appropriating that image into your garment or your product. Right. Without actually having the work, required that was put into that,
right.
know. So it's so it's a month-long event through November to try and celebrate wool, educate about wool, inspire people to try more wool products, to use more wool, because wool has an amazing impact on our culture, on our society, on our economics. Yeah, so Wovember, it's coming up.
Cool. There's a lot of interesting things, and I think you make a really good point where people say, "Oh, it's woolly," or "It's this or that," when really it's not because it's acrylic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
Just
nothing
because it's
woolly.
fuzzy, if it's fuzzy, that doesn't mean it's woolly. It
Right.
just means it's fuzzy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that is an important distinction, particularly when, there's a lot of like flock to fiber, small crofts and farms and that's their endeavor, that's their
Right.
livelihood. And it's important to support those smaller people,
Mhm.
I think. So, and the smaller industry. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the large scale sheep farmers. I mean, there is work, there is technical knowledge that goes into raising wool for us.
Yeah.
It is a respected career that people go
Sure.
into, and they deserve to benefit from the effort that they're putting into it. And so for a wool producer to create to care for his sheep, to get the animals well cared for, to make sure they're shorn properly and get that off to market to us,
Yeah.
that takes skill, and
Yeah,
that takes
absolutely.
know-how, and it's a different skill and know-how than the petrochemical clothing industry. And
Exactly.
it's
Yeah. So tell
yeah.
us what does this look like then for Wovember is primarily on Instagram, is that correct?
Yeah, well, originally it was a blogging event. So
Okay.
Wovember.com still exists. It's an excellent resource. They've kept that up. So just to backtrack a little bit, in 2017, the original founders stepped back from Wovember and said, carry it forward. However you want to do Wovember into the future, do it. Like, we support you and it's wonderful. And they left the website up, and it's full of information. It's amazing resource. There's entertaining stuff. There's informative stuff. There's personal essays. There's all sorts of things.
Right.
But they stopped updating the website in 2017, and at that point, it just remained with the posting challenges on Instagram. So at the same time that the Wovember blog was growing and developing, there were also posting challenges going on Instagram. So someone would come up with 30 daily prompts that would take you through Wovember, and they'd put that up and say, these are the prompts. And then every day, if you wanted to participate, you would create a post based on that prompt. So if it was home, you might show a picture of your wool knit pillow cushion on your couch and talk about how you made it and how you like it and what it does. Or if it was head, then you might show a picture of your hat, that you made, and just try and convey some information in those posts so that other people who follow you would be informed about wool, would get the word out about wool.
Right.
Well, different people would sort of step forward and create those prompts every year. And last year, after everything we'd sort of been through, it wasn't clear who was going to do the prompts. Right. So I had a few friends on my feed who were like, well, who's doing it this year? Who's doing it this year? And I was like, well, no one's doing it this year, so I'm going to do it this year. So I came up with some prompts and got some people to offer prizes. And we did the 30-day posting challenge and had some 600 people who participated, and 10% of them did every single post through the whole month. And we had almost half of the people, over half of the people did 40% of the posts. Okay. So I have a very kind assistant who is helping me track all of this, because you can imagine with 600 participants, that was a lot of people. Yeah. So, and that was great. But at the same time, the thing with Instagram is, unless you know to search for Wovember and then are willing to read through all those posts, it's hard to find that information again. Right. And so this year I decided we really need to get a website up again. So there's a website in the works, and I don't want to give the name out right now because it's not ready for launch yet. It's going to be a few days after this goes live.
That's okay, but people can follow your social media to see that in a few days.
Yeah. So if you follow I Thought I Knew How on Instagram, or if you're in the I Thought I Knew How group on Facebook, it'll appear both places. Okay. And I'll tell Jana too, and maybe you can update it in the notes below.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's going to go live. And so we are bringing back the blogging component of Wovember so that that resource will be there for people to refer to during the year. And as the years go on and people continue to post and we learn more about wool, and there's all sorts of other stuff that comes up in the media and everything, that can be a supplement to the original Wovember site. Right. We're not trying to supplant the Wovember site. That is an awesome resource. Everyone go look at it. But we do want to have a place where we can continue to add this information. Yeah.
Yeah, adding collecting information is good. And this isn't, it's not just like encyclopedic information. You also have all kinds of stuff, like there will be like a marketplace and whatever. There's other things besides just like encyclopedic articles. There's that as well, but there's other features for this website.
So we're actually I'm inviting anyone who's interested, who wants to contribute to the Wovember site. We're still collecting people who want to contribute because we would like to have a post every day.
Right.
But some of those posts are very fact-based, and that you will learn about the characteristics of wool. You will learn the science behind it. Right. But some of the people who are writing for us are crofters and want to talk about their experiences with wool. Some of them work in linguistics. Some of them are designers. Some of them are dyers. We're still gathering people, so I have some wish list people that I'm trying to convince. But we'll have book. There'll be some book reviews. Nice. All sorts of things. Anything wool related, we're going to be putting into
maybe
this
some
site.
Spinners and that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. And then you mentioned the marketplace. This is something that I'm adding this year. This hasn't been on the Wovember site before.
Okay.
But one of the goals of Wovember is to try and help people understand where they can incorporate wool products into their lives and better support the wool producers all along the wool chain, production chain.
Yeah.
And so I'm compiling a marketplace as well that will be full of people who work in wool. So, the yarn dyers, the spinners, the producers, but also people who are coming up with other wool products. Okay. And that's going to stay up year round.
Nice.
So if you hear about wool fertilizer pellets in Wovember, right. For most of us, that's not going to do us very much good because it's fall and we're putting our gardens to bed, But in the spring, you might wonder, oh, wait, what was that product I heard about? You can come back to the website, go to the marketplace, and you can find that listing there so that you can place an order when you need it.
Nice. And so all this is going to...
It's one thing to tell people to buy wool. It's another to be like, well, here's the products. Here it is. Like, here's...
Yeah. Well, and that dress, that wear the same dress every day for 100 days challenge, that was a wool dress, wasn't it?
Yep, it was from Wool and. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that company...
wool dress for 100 days.
That's right. And that company is Wool, WOOL, ampersand. So
ampersand, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but I remember that you did that, and that's and wool is like temperature regulating, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, it helps you stay cool when you're getting hot. When you're getting hot, it helps you. When you're cold, it helps warm you up. It's a wonderful. It keeps you body temperature. Yeah. And it's incredible. The first post that I have lined up for Wovember is actually a talk by I don't want to give too much away because it's findable, but it's a talk from a fellow who's been in the wool industry for years and years, and it's over an hour of wool facts and the science behind how wool works.
Sure.
And I don't expect people to sit down on day one and watch, an hour and 12-minute presentation.
Well, grab your knitting and do
10
it.
10 minutes at a time.
You might.
Yeah. 10 minutes at a time, or have your breakfast with this fellow and just learn. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating how wool behaves and works. And a lot of this is stuff we knew as a society because we used wool all the time.
Right.
We used wool all the time, and we stopped. And so we forgot a lot of this knowledge, you know?
Well, and people think that wool is wool is wool. Well, no, because different breeds of sheep have different characteristics for their fleeces. So, I mean, it does make a difference whether it's Targhee or Merino or Jacob or Shetland or yada, yada, all that. It definitely makes a difference. Yeah. So,
for sure. And
some wool is better suited for sock yarn than others.
That's right.
Like I would not knit socks out of merino yarn, for example. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Some wool does not felt, period. You know, and so you can knit yourself a sweater that you can send through the washer and dryer without having to have it treated or mix in any nylon. Yeah.
So what breed, what type of wool
is all stuff we're going to talk about in Wovember.
So stay tuned for that tidbit since Anne's not giving it up.
Not giving anything up.
Okay. So people can
come to Wovember.
First thing they need to do is follow you on Instagram.
Yes.
Because you're going to post the prompts if people want to participate. But if people don't want to do it, they could at least just follow you and follow along for all the good information.
Yeah. So the prompts are going to go live on October 27th. Then we start posting on November 1st. And one thing I want to say is a lot of the times people start it and they have the best intentions. They're going to do all the posts. They're super excited. And then life happens. You have 30 days to do this in. Something's going to come up.
Right.
If you get behind, that's okay. That's okay.
Just start.
Just keep posting when you can. And if you want to go back and get caught up, that's fine. We're going to have 3 prizes this Wovember. Okay. There's going to be a prize for an exceptional photo.
Oh.
There's going to be a prize for exceptional writing. Okay. And there's going to be a prize that will be drawn from the list of names of everybody who posts for all 30 days. So you might post just once and still win the prize for exceptional writing or exceptional photo. But if you want to be up for the prize that is for posting for all 30 days, then you have to post for all 30 days.
Right.
But yeah, there's chances to win even if you're not, able to do all 30 of the posts. Right. Yeah. We want people to not feel like this is a chore. We want it to be enjoyable.
Sure.
And informative and lighthearted. And just come have Wovember with us. It'll be fun.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So if people want to partner with you, they could go get information about that on your website. We'll put all the links down below of where people can go for your social media and to participate in Wovember in all the different ways that you can participate. So
absolutely. Yes. That'll be in the links below, or you can just send me an email, Anne@IthoughtIknewhow.com or Anne@familypodcasts.com.
Okay.
And just let me know what you're interested in doing. And I can also send you the links that way. So
yay. Yeah. All right. Yay. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Jana.
Thanks for coming on and telling us about it.
You are very welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.